Okay, to finish the 1.4 notes, we're just gonna kind of wrap up because these vocab words can kind of sometimes be confusing because they sound similar and they both include like a random piece to it. So we're just gonna kind of like try and clarify the difference between a random sample versus a random assignment. Okay. So we talked about random samples before, and we did like this simple random sample when we did the Beyonce activity with all the lyrics. So a random sample is when every member in the population has an equal chance of being selected to be a part of the study. So randomly selecting people for the study. That's our random sample. Every member has, well, we'll say every member of the population has an equal chance of being selected. Okay, that's our random sample. A random assignment, this is like part of our experiment. This is when each participant in our experiment has an equal chance of being assigned to those different like groups. Okay. When we did the mapping diagram, it was like whether we did a randomized block design or just the here I'll do it in this called. Just like a normal one. Completely randomized design, that's what's called. We have our starting, and then we would use a random assignment to decide which groups they go to and whether they have, and then we randomly decide whether they get the treatment or control. That's a random assignment. Okay, so each participant in an experiment so the random part is giving them like that equally likely chance to be selected. So an assignment versus sample, assignment is like within our experiment. That's basically a good way to tell it apart. Okay. Has an equal chance of being assigned to the treatment or control group. Okay. So, in summary, random assignment, randomly selecting if you get the treatment or not. Random sample, randomly selecting people for the study. That's the big difference. Here's why it matters, and here's kind of like the activity we're going to do. Of when we're allowed to like say that something causes or has like a cause and effect relationship on something else. Remember, we can't do that in like an observational study. In order to prove like a causing relationship, we need to have some type of experiment. So random samples, they allow us to just generalize our conclusions with the whole population from that group that we sampled. And a random assignment, this will allow us to like compare the treatment to the control group, and this will allow us to say if something causes something else, if there causes changes in the response variable. Okay. So then lastly, just in your notes right here, I have like this little kind of like mapping diagram to help you like kind of visualize what you can infer from random assignments versus random samples. So up top here, were individuals randomly assigned? If yes, here's what we can kind of conclude based upon if we randomly selected. Okay. If no, here's what we can kind of conclude. Depending if they're randomly selected or not. So just as a quick example, were individuals randomly selected? Yes. Were they individually randomly assigned to groups? Yes. Then we can make both inferences about the population because we randomly selected them. And we can make inferences about cause and effect because we had this experiment and they were randomly assigned to treatment groups or not. So note, we can't make inferences about causes and effects if we don't have an experiment, if there were no random assignment of these groups. Okay, the only way we can make inferences about if something causes something is if we do have the experiment take place, and that includes the random assignments. All right, so this is kind of like a good visual for the activity we're going to do next. And I'm going to let you guys do this in groups, but I'll do one with you as an example. So let me grab the packet quick.
You're the one looking back. You don't have to look at it. Maybe I'm looking at it.
Okay, Mia, so the one I just passed out, I actually posted, because it's kind of like a extension off this SAT activity. So I posted it under here. Here's the one we did yesterday. This is the one we're doing today. So you're actually probably going to want to tear off, well, you don't have to tear it off the back page if you want to, but you're supposed to like cut these up and make cards, but I was too lazy to do that. So here's the cards. All right. So this is, the front page is like kind of the actual activity, and then you're going to match it like with these cards on the back. So if you want to rip off the back, it'll probably be easier instead of flipping, but that's up to you. All right, so some students at your school claim that taking an SAT prep course will help improve their SAT score. We've really just been dying to know the answers to this. Design a study to help discover if this claim is true. Okay, so there's 6 proposed studies here for investigating the question of the day. Suppose we found that the mean SAT score of students who took an SAT prep class is significantly higher than the mean, remember mean is just average, SAT score of the students who didn't take an SAT prep course. What conclusions could we make? Can we generalize and can we determine causation? All right, so here's what I want you guys to do. Whoop. You're going to go through these 6. I'm going to do one with you. And you're going to try to match it with one of these statements that we can draw like this conclusion from each study. I also want you on the left-hand side here, you can kind of write it like this, to tell me yes or no, was this a random sample? Okay, so you're going to put yes or no to the left of this question. And then on the right-hand side, I want you to tell me if it was a random assignment. Because that's kind of our goal for today, is tell the difference between a random assignment and a random sample. Okay, so remember, random assignment takes place during an experiment. That's kind of the way I keep them differentiated. All right, so let's do number 1 together. So you decide to get all the students in a senior-only class. So you're just taking one class of seniors to participate in your study. You ask them whether or not they took an SAT prep course, and then you divide them into 2 groups based on their answer to this question. All right, so was this a random sample of seniors? No. The answer is no, because we just decided to go to one classroom. It was more like a convenience sample. We decided to go to one classroom with seniors only. We didn't number the seniors, and we didn't randomly select just a group of seniors. So this one is no. It's not a random sample. Did we do a random assignment? You're saying no. Why not? You're right. Exactly. We divided the groups based on their answers. So it was not a random assignment. Okay. So looking at my A through F, my cards here, I'm trying to think of which of these possible conclusions I can draw from this study. Well, first of all, since I didn't do an experiment, I just literally went to a class of seniors and took their responses of, hey, did you take this SAT prep course? It wasn't like I randomly assigned them to two groups. I applied a treatment. I cannot prove a causation. So if you look at all of these, there are some that say, yes, this does cause higher score. So for example, I know B says causes, D says causes, F says causes. It can't be of any of those three options because we didn't do an experiment. Now keep in mind, we did find that the average SAT scores of students who did take an SAT prep course is higher. So there might be like an association, but we can't prove a causation because there wasn't an experiment. Okay, so between C, E, and A, C, and E, those are basically our three options. Do you guys think one of them makes more sense than the other? Three. The other two, I guess. Was this for all students who have taken the SAT? Was it for the students in a specific class? Or was it for all seniors that we can make this generalization? Not all seniors because we only selected one class. So it's actually C. C here. It's for just the students in this class. It should have probably said for the seniors. That probably would have been a little bit easier indicator, but we can only make this generalization for the ones in this class, for the population of the ones in this class, for the students in this class. And I'll kind of underline this. Because that's basically who we surveyed. This is the only generalization we can make, that there is an association but not a causation because there's no experiment. There is an association between, so now I'm just copying that from the card, between taking an SAT prep class and higher SAT scores. Okay, so because we just asked them, we didn't like apply a treatment, because we just asked them, we can only assume there's like an association and not a causation. Observational study. Okay, kind of makes sense? All right, you can either work in partners, you're gonna do small groups, that's fine too. I want you guys to go through and see if you can match the other ones and answer yes or no to the random sample versus random assignment.
Oh, she said small. Yes. So. She said
Or if you want to try it
small
on your own,
groups.
that's fine.
Yeah. No, you know what? It was wrong. Oh. I have a question. You just will not show the end. You like kind of do random, yeah, like and sometimes he just puts random stuff.
I'll have to.
I don't know if you know that these days. Random assignments. Yeah. Like it's kind of obvious that you're not trying to.
All right, leave that one on top, please.
Okay. For sure. Anyway.
guys remember that one day that Mr. Brady did stuff for me and I accidentally like closed the Alex?
Yeah.
It's because I got noon and midnight mixed up again.
That's what we were talking about. We thought you did.
that for an announcement for
I know,
us
I
too.
always get them mixed up with, I don't know.
Noon is PM.
Noon is PM. How can I remember that?
Cause it's like switching to the nighttime.
Yeah, it goes from AM to PM. Okay, that makes sense. And then at night, it's changing from
No
PM.
morning.
Okay, yeah. So
Cause it posted like the day you left and said, I'm going to be absent today. And we're like, she was absent, we know that.
always get them mixed up. It's 12 AM is noon.
No, 12 a.m. is night. Or wait, I don't know what it is.
No, 12 AM is noon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll probably be
Okay. Got it. That makes sense.
Wait, what is cause? They have an experiment. So
And then
Oh.
she said like,
it won't matter.
Sophie,
Yeah.
did you just say 12 a.m. is noon?
No.
That's me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just listening. I'm getting confused now.
I know, I don't get it. I just,
That's all right.
yeah.
that's alright. Okay, sorry to keep bothering you. So is he just like wrote your quotes?
All these algebra ones. Okay, I'm okay with this 31 through 36. He showed work from 36. Yeah, that's okay.
It's
not
I think so. We have taken the SAT. Without taking the SAT.
F is definitely 5 for sure. Yeah, I think 6 talks about students who have taken SAT at their school. And that will talk about this.
Oh wait. Do we have to do the back?
No. If you finish the front, you can just take a tight little see how that is.
Austin, did you finish it?
I'm so hungry.
You know what?
Nachos, cornbread. Tater.
Mia should come to the game tonight.
Yeah.
Mia, come to the game tonight.
Bruh. I would, but I will not be allowed to.
Who says?
Oh, I probably still test positive.
Come in a disguise and wear your mask and sit by yourself.
You know, I'm pretty sure I got COVID from Walmart.
Stop. Why?
Well, where else would I have gotten it?
Ella.
No, she has a freaking sinus infection.
This is all getting recorded in my video.
Oh my
It's going on YouTube.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we think we got it?
Yes.
Which one's which?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see how we did.
Oh gosh.
I'm nervous. Yeah, we got it.
I think we did good.
Okay, so we said
Did you think you did Austin?
okay. What letter did you put for number 2?
E.
E is correct. Was this a random sample?
Yes.
Yes, it says select a random sample of the seniors. Was it a random assignment?
No.
No, there was no experiment conducted. Good. Okay, any questions on that one? Did you get it right? What about for 3? What letter?
A.
A is correct. Was this a random sample?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. I forgot what this one is. Select a random. Oh yeah, it says it right here. A random sample of students who have taken their SAT. Okay. Random assignment?
No.
No. We're still just doing like observational study here. All right, then it gets interesting. Now and it says literally randomly assigned here. Now we're conducting some experiments. So letter for number 4?
D.
D is correct. Random sample?
No.
No. Random assignment?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's kind of what that chart in your notes was like going through, like if it's no for this, yes for this, what you can make inferences of, like does it cause or is it just an association? All right, number 5, letter F is correct. Random sample?
Yeah.
Random assignment?
Yeah.
Yes, to both. Good. You guys are pros. Okay, which means to me my last answer should be B. Random sample?
Yeah.
Yes. Random assignment?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
Yay.
Okay. So backside, we'll just do one like application problem together, and then we'll call it a day. We'll call it a chapter, actually.
Haha.
Thanks. Thanks for laughing at my jokes. All right, important ideas from the activity we just did. Random sample. I'll use red since I was doing it. Random sample allows us to generalize our conclusions to the population from which we sampled. Okay, and I had put that in your notes for you too. Random assignment allows us to say a treatment causes a change in the response variable. Causes changes in the response variable. Okay, that's our big takeaway from the activity. All right, so one application problem, I'll read this out loud. Zach works at the Verizon store and wonders if iPhones last longer if the screen brightness is set to low. He selects a random sample of 20 brand new iPhones from the store and randomly splits them into 2 groups of 10. For the first group of 10 iPhones, he sets the screen brightness to low and then starts a movie. For the second group of 10 iPhones, he sets the screen brightness to high and then starts a movie. For each iPhone, he measures the amount of time until the battery is all the way dead. He finds that the low brightness iPhones lasted longer on average than the high brightness iPhones. Isn't that coincidence? Okay. A. Was this an observational study or an experiment? Experiment, right. Why?
That's a treatment.
Treatment was applied. Experiment. Random assignment to treatments. Okay. What is the explanatory variable and the response variable?
The iPhone. That's brightness.
Yep. Good. The explanatory, the thing we're changing, or we can sometimes call this the predictive, is the screen brightness. So we're seeing if the screen brightness predicts the response variable. So the response, what we're measuring, was the amount of time. What do they do? The amount of time until the battery's dead. That's what we're measuring. We're seeing if the screen brightness can predict the amount of time until the battery's dead. Or you can think of it as independent, dependent variable. We're seeing if the amount of time until the battery's dead depends on the screen brightness. So another way to think of it. Okay, good. Was a random sample used? Yes. He randomly selected, or he selected a random sample of 20 brand new iPhones. Was there a random assignment used in the experiment?
Yeah.
Yes, that was from randomly splitting them into 2 groups of 10. Okay, what conclusion can we make from this study? Can we conclude that there's like a causation here? Yes, because it was an experiment. So we can say for all brand new iPhones, from the store, that's our population. For all brand new iPhones from the store, a low screen brightness causes increased battery time, or like battery life. All right, that's a wrap on 1.4. Okay, so really quick on Classroom. I added a couple things this morning that I just want to show you. So under the 1.3 notes, I added in Quizlet cards for those vocab. That was all of our vocab on sampling. Obviously, I won't put every single one of these on the quiz. It'll be just like the last one where it's just some of them. And then I also put the 1.4 vocab right here, the Quizlet ones, under those notes. So you can work on that for the remainder of class if you'd like, or the 1.3 assignments right here. I haven't posted the 1.4 assignments yet, but it should be in your Alex. There's an Alex assignment for 1.3 and 1.4. I think the Alex assignment for 1.4 might contain one vocab word that we didn't go over, and it has to do with observational studies. So just read the explanation on that if it's confusing. I feel like it's pretty straightforward. And I just posted it, so I haven't had a chance to quite look at it that thoroughly. But keep in mind, Monday too, you'll have class time to like work on this, study your vocab, ask me questions if you have questions on any of those. But that's it. That's all I have for you. You got 10 minutes to work. Let me post the one more on Classroom.